Okay, so mental health is simply a person's condition with regard to their mental and psychological well-being. Okay, with this generation, mainly youths, mental health affected due to alcohol abuse, drugs, and to wrap it up, let me just say peer pressure, so to say, and also circumstances beyond them, mainly the pressure coming from the parents or the environment that they live in. Okay, the signs are quite a lot, but the common signs are the ones I'm going to highlight. Depression, obviously. Depression always leads to mental health breakdown and whatnot. So depression, loneliness, and antisocial behavior, always wanting to be alone, always isolating yourself. It's not okay to lock yourself up in the room all the time and not want anyone to talk to. That's a huge sign of a mental health condition. Alcohol abuse, drugs, and just mood swings. Mood swings mainly, I know that some people who say, no, that's how I am. Sometimes I'm in a good mood, sometimes I'm in a bad mood, sometimes I just want to be alone. You're not okay, you need help. So if you have those mood swings, antisocial behavior, always hyper, all those are huge signs of mental health that shouldn't be ignored. So if you have all those things, just talk to somebody, ask for help. Or you can visit mental health hospitals and clinics. That will help you out. Usually it's lack of self-identity, broken homes, as well as group influence. So mainly when a child is growing up in a broken home, a lot of things is affected, obviously, and it also leads to lack of self-identity, which also leads to group influence. So if someone hasn't identified themselves where they belong, they tend to try and fit in whichever environment they find themselves in. So if they find themselves in drug addicts or alcoholics, they try to blend and fit in because they haven't identified themselves. The moment they realize, oh, this is not me, they try something else. And that also won't fit them. And at the end of the day, it's affecting them mentally. So broken homes, lack of self-identity, and also group influence. Well, of course there is. Whatever we go through in our day-to-day life, either way, always leads to our mental health. So when somebody is under peer pressure, they tend to do so many things, so many wrong decisions that lead to affecting their mental and psychological well-being. So the relationship is pretty much there. Mainly, you're referring to this generation, so to say. So there's so much going on in this generation, you know, there's fashion, entertainment, there's technology going on, there's so much going on. Like, this generation is overwhelmed with so many things, and all this thing is quite really overwhelming if you're to agree with me. And where education is concerned, you know, youths are always putting themselves under pressure to get better. When they see someone doing well, they would want to get better, to push themselves to a limit where they didn't expect them to get to. And then there's this entertainment industry that's just full of a lot. So I feel there's so much going on in this generation. The system is just too broad and too overwhelming for most youths. And this is the part where you find that many people get to do wrong decisions, they get to go astray, so to say, just to try to fit in the system. So I think there's so much going on around that's making people do certain things that they're not supposed to do and leading them to have a mental breakdown, which is not really safe. Okay, on this part, I pretty much love this question because most youths rather have turned out to be what they are due to their personal background, like the house they're coming from, their upbringing. So many parents play a huge role when it comes to youth's peer pressure. There are some certain things that parents tend to overlook as a child is growing up. The perfect example I'd give is when a child is growing up, praise your child. Tell them they're beautiful, tell them they're handsome, tell them they're intelligent. Because when they go out there, they're going to find other children that have gone through or that have been raised by parents that always praise them. And they tend to have extra confidence. You know, when you're coming from a background where people appreciate you and love you and show you that love, you move differently. You move with confidence, you move with pride because you know where you're coming from, you're loved. And then here's a child who comes from from a house where she's not been told, you know, she's loved or she's beautiful or she's intelligent. Of course, her self-esteem will be lowered to an extent where she can't even stand up or raise a hand in the classroom. So parents should always tell the children the reality of life. That's one thing that's important. Do not hide your child how life is out there. Tell them the truth. Tell them how the world operates. Tell them you love them. Tell them they're intelligent and they're bright, and they'll grow up to to face reality even before the actual reality strikes them. So I think parents should have like real talk with their children. They should have real talk with their young ones. It can't just necessarily be your actual daughter. If you're keeping a child, if you're a guardian to somebody, sit them down, tell them the truth so that they should be ready for the world. When they go out there, they'll be able to relate, say, oh, my aunt told me that, my uncle told me that, grandma told me this. And they'll be able to approach, or they'll be able to see the world in a different way. So I think parents should have real talk with their children for their mental health purposes. Okay, I think this should be one of my favorite questions. People hold back due to the same reasons. Stigma, discrimination, you share a secret. I think trust also. People don't easily trust, which is okay because trust is supposed to be earned. But here is a person who shares something really deep with a friend, with a close friend. Before she knows it or before he knows it, her business is all over social media. And the power of social media is so quick. I tell you a secret, tomorrow you're going to tell the other person who's going to spread it to the whole world. So people are actually scared to share this information or personal problems that's making them have emotional breakdowns with others because they're afraid of stigma and discrimination. At times you can go to somebody who you trust and you expect to confide in, and then that person just laughs at your situation or judges you for that particular thing that's going on. You'll be more broken than you were even before. So I think most of them just fear stigma, discrimination, and also being judged by other people. And this is where mental health specialists come in. So if you have such problems, go see a counselor, go see a mental health specialist. Or you can even go to maybe church, a priest or a pastor, whoever you think at least will give you that help. So the key is find the right person to talk to. One who's going to give you help and one who's going to give you a way forward.